Studio 31.
Covering Fresno, Bakersfield, and all of California. This is My 53 News at 8.
Marijuana fans rejoice. Fresno now has a pot dispensary. But first, we're covering developing news as the Washburn fire continues to burn. Monday night across the San Joaquin Valley. Good evening, I'm Austin Reed. Parts of Yosemite still closed off to the public, and the Highway 41 entrance still closed tonight, all because of the Washburn fire, which broke out this past Thursday. Current acreage around 2,300 acres. Containment is right around 25%. Firefighters are desperately trying to protect the giant sequoia trees. Evacuation orders kicked in Friday, and we brought you that live breaking news on the MyTV 53 Facebook page. The Tenaya Lodge, located south of the park, is still open tonight, but a mandatory evacuation order has been issued for the community of Wawona and the Wawona campground. Tonight, a shelter for evacuated residents is located at the Mariposa New Life Church on Cole Road. Meanwhile, the grizzly giant is in danger. It's the most renowned giant sequoia in Yosemite Park, standing at 209 feet. It is the second largest tree in Yosemite and one of the most photographed. The grizzly giant is in the Mariposa Grove impacted by the blaze. And tonight we have new video in from the Fire Integrated Real-Time Intelligence System. The program is intended to significantly improve situational awareness for first responders. Here now some video from above when firefighters first spotted the Washburn fire.
Fire is approximately 1 mile from Wawona now. Fire's edge is active. Coming down the left flank towards the heel, still all active back down towards the Mariposa Grove Road and Wawona Road, bottom of the screen.
Do stay with MyTV 53 News at 8 for continuing coverage of the Washburn fire. And it was yet another super hot day all across the valley. And in Fresno today, a number of cooling centers were open throughout the day. They closed about an hour ago. Frank Ball Neighborhood Park and Ted Willis Community Centers are just some of the locations. Cooling centers are expected to be open again tomorrow with highs right around 106 in the forecast Tuesday. And in Kern County, as temps are heating up this week, officials are reminding everybody about Purple Ribbon Month and how it relates to child safety. Reporter Ali Soper from KernCounty.com explains.
July is Purple Ribbon Month, and the Kern County Department of Human Services is encouraging parents and caregivers to look before they lock. As temperatures reach summer highs, DHS is working with local law enforcement to educate the community about keeping kids safe in and around cars. This awareness campaign is in honor of Caitlin's Law, which makes it a citable offense to leave children under the age of 6 alone in a car without the supervision of someone at least 12 years old.
So in the case that you do see a baby in a hot car, you should act immediately. As any person would do, you would find a way to get into that car, and under the Good Samaritan law, you are allowed to break into the vehicle and rescue this child. And once that is done, you should call 911 and make sure emergency service is on their way.
Each year, DHS demonstrates just how hot temperatures in cars can get, hoping to raise awareness about the dangers of leaving children alone in cars unattended.
Hey everybody, July is Purple Ribbon Month, and we're here to remind you never leave a child alone in a vehicle, especially when it's hot like today. As you can see, it's 102 outside, and inside the vehicle it's 138 degrees, and that is hypothermia for a child. They could even die. So we have a little baby in here today, just a pretend doll, to just give you a visual. And we just want to remind you, if you have a change in routine, some prevention tips are leave your purse in the back with the child, leave your backpack, leave anything to remind you to check the back seat. Look before you lock.
That was Ali Soper reporting. Disturbing news out of Sanger tonight. The police department released the following video of a woman allegedly setting a man on fire. Warning, this video is disturbing. Patricia Castillo of Sanger and Leonard Hawkins of Sanger have been booked into the Fresno County Jail for attempted murder, arson, and conspiracy charges after Castillo poured gasoline on the man, lit him on fire. The Sanger Police Department's community video surveillance system captured the crime last Thursday. Good news is the victim is expected to survive. And a FedEx driver was the victim of a carjacking Saturday afternoon in downtown Fresno. The carjacking was reported around 4 p.m. when the FedEx driver was on Fruit and Shields Avenues. Fresno police tell MyTV53 that a suspect in his 40s approached the driver, pulled out a gun, and demanded that the FedEx driver get out of his delivery truck. The driver obeyed, and the suspect drove off. The driver called the police, and the patrol officers were alerted. 8 minutes later, an agent traveling east on Clinton Avenue saw the FedEx truck in the parking lot of an apartment complex over on Clinton and Vagadeus Avenues. Officers say that the suspect was near the vehicle but ran when an officer approached. More officers arrived, and the suspect was finally captured shortly after in an apartment complex. Developing tonight down in Southern California, 4 separate shootings at 7-Eleven stores prompted large-scale investigations across the Southland this morning after reported incidents in Riverside, Santa Ana, and some other cities down there left at least 2 people dead and several wounded. Police say it was all related to different robberies, all at 7-Eleven stores. It is worth noting that today is National 7-Eleven Day, the one day a year where customers can claim a free Slurpee from any location. No word if it's connected just yet. Back in Bakersfield on Saturday night, deputies were dispatched to a victim of a shooting on South Union Avenue. When they arrived, they located the adult victim on the ground near a vehicle. The same car had been struck by 2 bullets, and the victim had been struck by 1. The victim was transported to a local hospital for treatment. Anybody with information is asked to contact the Kern County Sheriff's Office. And the Kern County Sheriff's Office tonight asking for the public's assistance in locating missing adult Julia Judson. She was last seen on 6/19. It is unknown what she was wearing, but if anybody has any information about Judson's whereabouts, you are asked to contact the Kern County Sheriff's Office. And this month, a new mental health hotline will be available for people struggling with mental health across Kern County. On July 16th, this Saturday, the phone number 988 will be an alternative to 911 for those navigating mental health emergencies. Kern Behavioral Health and Recovery Services will be fielding the calls. Again, that new number will be 988. And Saturday night, the Tulare Police Department responded to the 1000 block of Stony Creek Street regarding 4 to 5 shots fired. Upon arrival, 3 subjects were found suffering from gunshot wounds and taken to local area hospitals for treatment. Once at the local hospital, 1 victim was pronounced deceased as a result of the single gunshot wound. Several subjects of interest have been detained for questioning, but the case is still under investigation and ongoing. And our thanks to the Tulare Stringer 559 Facebook page for this video. And history was made today in Fresno as the first ever legal marijuana store opened its doors to customers at 10 o'clock this morning. But this pot shop will also double as an art gallery. We took a trip to Palm and Knees to see what it's all about. By the way, another cannabis shop will be opening next week in Fresno. That'll be over on Blackstone Avenue. And soon the city will have a total of 21 pot shops with a limit of 3 per district. Caught on camera by CHP in San Luis Obispo. This post on Facebook, it's going viral. It says, "Never a dull day," especially when you receive multiple 911 calls of a casket. That's right, a casket on the shoulder of the freeway. The department says the officer was a little nervous and hoped it was empty. And sure enough, it was empty. Crazy story there. We are covering the world now. In Australia, the city of Sydney is now cleaning up after another devastating flood swept across the urban fringe. The situation has been more heartbreaking after a local helicopter pilot was killed assisting in the relief efforts. Chief international correspondent Daniel Pizarro returned to the town of Windsor in Sydney's northwest and ventured into the flood-affected zones once again. It's a story you'll only see on MyTV53.
Days after the urban fringes of Sydney were inundated by catastrophic flooding for the 4th time in 18 months, the clean-up is underway. The bent-over trees next to the Nepean River in northwest Sydney showing just how devastating the recent flooding was.
We're in recovery mode. We have, as we speak, around 600 volunteers comprising of Defence Force, Fire and Rescue, Rural Fire Service, SES, Marine Rescue volunteers and workers out there amongst the Hawkesbury community helping out with the clean-up.
Just downriver, the town of Windsor bore the full brunt of the surging waters. Many locals throwing out their damaged goods onto the streets, while enormous landslips show just how close houses were to danger. It's incredible to believe that just a few days ago, the Windsor Bridge behind me was completely inundated by the floodwaters. After the river receded, it was inspected and declared safe for pedestrians and vehicles, but many crossings remain closed as the clean-up continues. Emergency payments are now on offer for flood-affected locals to assist, but the damage is done as farms and orchards have been destroyed, causing food prices to increase.
Hawkesbury's the food bowl of Sydney. It feeds thousands of people with all the fresh produce that we create. And then we have our turf farmers, so it's a big primary production area as well.
Meanwhile, the Hawkesbury community is in mourning after an experienced helicopter pilot, Carl Herbst, was killed after his chopper crashed on the weekend. Herbst was well known for his assistance during the floods and has been remembered as a hero.
Such a great guy. He was always one of those blokes that would drop everything to help anyone.
An investigation is now underway into the cause. In Sydney, Daniel Pizarro, MyTV 53 News.
Daniel, thank you for that story. Well, the second of two consecutive supermoons will be glowing brightly in the night sky this week as the full buck moon of July 2022 rises and gives sky watchers a special summer treat. The first full moon of the summer season will officially reach its fullest phase at 2:37 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, July 13th. So it will be at its biggest and brightest when it rises above the horizon on Wednesday night. I'll be checking out that for sure. And we are covering news across America tonight as the riot hearings will continue this week in our nation's capital. Amy Goodman from our news partner at Democracy Now! Fills us in.
A former spokesperson for the far-right Oath Keepers is set to testify publicly on Tuesday at the next hearing of the House January 6 committee. Tuesday's hearing is expected to focus on the role of the Oath Keepers and Proud Boys in the deadly insurrection. Justice Department prosecutors have accused members of the Oath Keepers of bringing explosives to Washington, D.C., and for maintaining a death list of election officials in Georgia to target. This comes as Donald Trump's former advisor, Steve Bannon, has informed the committee he's willing to testify publicly. Bannon was due to be tried this week for contempt of Congress. On Friday, the January 6 committee spent 8 hours privately questioning former White House counsel Pat Cipollone. One member of the committee, Democrat Zoe Lofgren, said Cipollone did not contradict the testimony of previous witnesses. In other election news, Wisconsin's Supreme Court has barred the use of absentee ballot drop boxes anywhere in the state outside of election offices. In her dissent, Wisconsin Justice Ann Walsh Bradley wrote, quote, "The majority lead opinion blithely and erroneously seeks to sow distrust in the administration of our elections and through its faulty analysis erects yet another barrier for voters to exercise this sacred right."
Amy Goodman from Democracy Now! Thank you. MyTV 53 News at 8 as we're just starting a new work week. Just getting started. Here's what's coming up. Uber's in trouble. We'll tell you why, and we'll have a look at your weather. This is MyTV 53 News at 8. We're back in a little over 2 minutes.
You're watching the Valley's only 8 o'clock newscast with Austin Reed. This is My 53 News at 8.
Welcome back, everybody. French President Emmanuel Macron was under pressure today to explain his past support for taxi app Uber while he was economy minister, following media revelations that have been seized on by critics. Reporter Vidika Ball from our news partner at France 24 USA with this story.
With over 100 million users across 40 countries, it's become the world's largest ride-sharing app. But a trove of leaked confidential files show that Uber used potentially unethical methods to fuel its rapid global expansion. Obtained by The Guardian, the cache of 124,000 documents that's being dubbed the Uber files reveals that the tech giant flouted laws, lobbied governments and even courted politicians to force its services around the globe, with a particular ally found in France's President Emmanuel Macron, causing other French politicians to accuse him of looting the country.
It's very serious. I have a certain idea of the Republic that the President should not be a lobbyist of private interests. So, what lessons should one draw from it? Without a doubt, we should address the government and launch a commission of inquiry.
Whilst French taxi drivers protested against Uber, the leak shows Macron championed the country's growth in Paris and was on first-name terms with co-founder Travis Kalanick.
It's amazing that a country is offended that a finance minister receives business leaders in a totally public way, in a debate that was parliamentary. So yes, fortunately, our finance ministers can continue to receive companies, can make sure that these companies are established in France and that they create jobs here.
The company has been dogged by sexual harassment allegations, data breaches and accusations of underpaying drivers for several years. Uber has responded, saying its past behavior wasn't in line with present values, and today it's a different company.
And you can watch France 24, 24/7, 365 on digital channel 33.6 across the Fresno Metro. Hey, now to our news partner from Cal Matters. Some 23 million Californians' bank accounts will get a boost of $250 to about $1,000 thanks to a new round of payments approved by state lawmakers. But the payments aimed at mitigating high prices for gas and other goods will leave out lots of low-income Californians. Among those passed over are some seniors, many living on disability benefits, and some of the lowest-income adults. That's because the direct deposits and debit cards expected to begin arriving in late October will conclude in January 2023. Will be sent out based on tax returns. You can read more about this on our news partner's website, calmatters.org.
My 53 News continues with the Valley's local forecast.
I am not looking forward to this week. But it is summer officially, and we're in Fresno. What do you expect? Hey, coming up next here on the news at 8, Elon Musk back in the news tonight. Why? He's got more kids. And as we leave you to break, we're starting a new segment here on MyTV 53 News at 8. We're featuring your animals. So send us an email, news@mytv53.com. of your dog, your cat, your snake, maybe a turtle, and we'll get it on this week during the news. It's things you only see here on MyTV 53. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. Meghan McCain is not a fan of Elon Musk and Nick Cannon's baby-making mentality. Access Hollywood's Susie Magoo III explains.
Meghan McCain is not a fan of Elon Musk and Nick Cannon's baby-making mentality. News broke last week that the 51-year-old Tesla mogul had secretly welcomed twins with one of his top executives, Siobhan Zilis, in November 2021, which was just weeks before he and ex-Grimes welcomed a daughter via surrogate, which now makes Elon a father to 10 children. The billionaire tweeted on Thursday, "Doing my best to help the underpopulation crisis. A collapsing birth rate is the biggest danger civilization faces by far." After seeing Elon's tweet, the 41-year-old Masked Singer host, who is currently expecting his 8th child, tweeted at the SpaceX founder, "Right there with you, my brother," with a raised fist emoji. Nick and Elon's Twitter exchange caught Meghan's attention, who then published an op-ed for the Daily Mail,
calling it the quote, creepiest tag team tweet thread in history, writing, "What the heck is going on here? I don't care how many times Musk eviscerates cancel culture and wokeism. I don't care what he is supposedly buying Twitter to save it from the bots and thought police, or colonizing Mars to save the human race. That is flat out weird." The former View co-host continued on, adding how Elon's actions mimic those of a quote, cult leader, penning, "This impregnate the planet mentality is creepy and comes off like the actions of a cult leader, more than an altruistic person who wants to expand their family and save the planet." Elon is the wealthiest man on the planet. He certainly can largely do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, however he wants. But don't for a minute think that ordinary Americans relate to this at all. Megan concluded by writing that even though Elon might be able to financially support his children, that he's, quote, missing the emphasis on the family unit, meaning one baby mama, one marriage, with a lot of children living under one roof. Besides the 2 toddler twins with his exec, Elon shares 18-year-old twins Vivian Jenna Wilson and Griffin Musk, along with 16-year-old triplets Kai, Damien, and Sax Musk, with his first wife, Justine Wilson. The two had another son, Nevada, who died at 10 weeks old from SIDS in 2002. He and Grimes also shared 2 kiddos, 2-year-old son X-Ash A12 and 7-month-old daughter Exadark Sidrea. Nick has also been very busy over the years, as he currently has 7 kids with 4 different women. The Drumline actor shares 11-year-old twins Monroe and Moroccan with ex-wife Mariah Carey, 5-year-old son Golden Sagon, and 1-year-old powerful queen with Brittany Bell, 1-year-old twins Zion and Zillion with Abby De La Rosa, and last July, Nick welcomed son Zen with Alyssa Scott, but he sadly died in December at 5 months old after being diagnosed with brain cancer. Earlier this year, Nick confirmed that he is now expecting his 8th child with model Brie Ticey. Zion and Zillion's mom also revealed last month that she is pregnant again, but did not say who the father is.
You can watch Access weekdays right here on MyTV53. We'll be right back. Hey, in sports, the Visalia Rawhide are throwing it back to 1975, the year Jaws was released. VHS tapes were introduced by JVC, and the Visalia Oaks came to be. The Rawhide go against the Quakes. This homestand only has 3 games, so get your tickets now at rawhidebaseball.com. First game, July 22nd. Here's your final look at today's weather. We are going to stay hot the rest of the week, anywhere from highs 105, maybe 107. We'll see. Stay inside if you can. Stay in that AC. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We know there's many options out there for TV news, and we thank you for joining us here at MyTV53. I'm Austin Reed. Have a marvelous rest of your Monday. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Covering Fresno, Bakersfield, and all of California. This is My 53 News at 8.
New numbers out tonight show progress is being made on the Washburn fire in Yosemite. It is our big story again tonight on My TV 53 News at 8. Good Tuesday evening. I'm Austin Reed. It is July the 12th. The Washburn fire broke out last Thursday, and as of today, the fire is 22% contained. The blaze has charred at least 3,221 acres now, according to new data released today. More than 500 fire crew personnel are still on the scene, some of whom are using bulldozers to clear lines while others are creating backfires, a preemptive controlled burn of brush and dead wood to starve the blaze of flammable material to protect the park and its Mariposa Grove, home to hundreds of giant sequoias. And earlier this morning, Yosemite Fire and Aviation held a press conference with more updates. Check this out.
Up around the top, we were able to bring fire down the indirect hand line to the Mariposa Grove Road. We now have fire down along the Mariposa Grove to the junction of Highway 41. Up around Highway 41 through the top. Yesterday afternoon, fire activity did pick up. We were going after multiple spot fires, 15 or so spot fires that were north and west of Highway 41. That's this clump here. All spot fires have been secured, the biggest being a half acre. We're going to be in there reinforcing those, flying infrared drones today, checking for additional, and that's top priority today to hold fire east of Highway 41. Around the top, we are showing some containment along Highway 41 to the division break. Crews will be in there snagging, removing dead trees, hazard trees, and working that perimeter. Working around towards the Stud Horse Trail system, we have fire down to the Stud Horse. Crews were able to take it out the trail system down to the north. This morning around 4 o'clock, they were able to get fire down to the South Fork of the Merced River, which is closing this last gap off to the South Fork. So we have fire along our entire control line down around the community. Now crews are going to work in there, start reinforcing, securing, and checking the perimeters with a high priority of watching north of the South Fork River. The community, we still have structured defense in place, going to keep that in place while we have fire backing off the lines and burning out along the lines. Along the South Fork of the Merced River, we've been flying infrared flights in there with a helicopter. We do have fire down to the river in the majority of the spots. There is some fingers that need to back down still. We did pick up multiple spots yesterday. El Dorado Hotshots hiked in, secured them, the biggest being about 1/10 of an acre, and they're plotted on the maps. We still have a major priority of holding fire in the South Fork, so we'll be continuing to fly that throughout the day and checking a possible spot much further to the east down here, top priority. Back around south out of the Merced River, fire continues to spot out to the east, showing on the map here. Continues to spot out and then work its way up slope. So crews came out yesterday out towards Mount Raymond. They were able to get handline out, and they were able to put some fire along the ridge line. The ridge line is holding for now. Today we're going to have our fixed wing retardant up there reinforcing the lines.
Also tonight, check out this view of the Washburn fire released today from the National Weather Service out in Hanford. Meteorologists have been keeping a very close eye on the development of the blaze. This 3-day loop shows smoke billowing to the north as the fire continues to grow. As for the closures and evacuation alerts, Highway 41's entrance into Yosemite still closed tonight. You'll have to use Highways 120 or 140 to get around that closure. The Tenaya Lodge is still open. However, mandatory evacuation orders are still in place for Wawona and the Wawona Campground. And you stay with MyTV 53 News at 8 for continuing coverage of the Washburn fire. Other news on this Tuesday night, strong message from California Governor Gavin Newsom as he announced today that gun manufacturers and distributors have been shielded from the mass destruction they could cause. That's because Newsom just signed a bill that will allow victims of gun violence to sue the makers and hold them accountable.
Well, it's well known that nearly every industry is held to account when their products cause harm or injury. Well, except one, the gun industry. The gun lobby, well, it spent millions and millions of dollars buying off politicians to shield themselves from any liability. Today, California is going to change that. They can no longer hide from the mass destruction that they have caused. I'll be signing a bill that will allow Californians to sue irresponsible gun manufacturers and distributors. If you've been hurt or a family member is a victim of gun violence, you can now go to court and hold the makers of these deadly weapons accountable. Our kids, families, and communities deserve to live without the worry of gun violence. And with Assemblymember Ting's bill, gun makers will finally be held to account for their role in this crisis.
Meanwhile, gun violence in America was top of mind for families of the victims of the Uvalde, Texas elementary school shooting. From protests to one parent screaming at President Biden to do something. Amy Goodman from our news partner at Democracy Now! Has the full story.
In Texas, hundreds of protesters marched through the streets of Uvalde Sunday, braving triple-digit temperatures to demand answers over the May 24th massacre at Robb Elementary School that left 19 fourth graders and their 2 teachers dead. Joining the protest was Alessandra Garcia, whose mother Irma was one of the teachers killed in the attack.
She was kind and loving. She had a way with words. She was the backbone to our family. and we will never be the same. As sad as it is, a part of me knew my mother would give her life to save her students.
Alessandra Garcia's father, Joe, died of a heart attack 2 days after his wife, Irma, was killed by the Uvalde shooter. At the White House, the parent of a student killed in a 2018 mass shooting interrupted President Biden Monday to demand more federal action on gun control. Biden was holding the ceremony in the Rose Garden with survivors and family members affected by gun violence, celebrating his signature of a bipartisan gun safety bill. When Manuel Oliver rose to challenge Biden's record on guns, Oliver lost his 17-year-old son, Joaquin, to a mass shooter at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, Valentine's Day 2018.
Today's many things is proof that despite the naysayers, we can make meaningful progress on dealing with gun violence. Because make no mistake, sit down, you'll hear what I have to say. If you think you...
I've been trying to tell you this for years.
Let me finish my comment. Let him talk. No one, okay?
Manny Oliver was then escorted away by Secret Service agents after the confrontation. He told reporters he's demanding Biden create an office in the executive branch focused solely on gun violence.
What am I supposed to do today here? Listen to a package of bills that don't solve 100% of problem that is killing people every single day in America? Clap and be happy and be part of a celebration? Not me. We got a fancy invitation from the White House. It's like going to a wedding. And I'm here. I thought that I needed to be here. But I also needed to say what I said.
That was Amy Goodman reporting. Also in news across America, in its 7th public hearing, the January 6th committee investigating the insurrection zeroed in on the connection between Trump and extremist groups as the mob came together. The House Select Committee said today it has evidence that Stuart Rhodes, the leader of the Oath Keepers, shipped thousands of dollars worth of tactical gear to a January 6th rally planner in Virginia before the attack.
President Trump is a 76-year-old man. He is not an impressionable child. As our investigation has shown, Donald Trump had access to more detailed and specific information showing that the election was not actually stolen than almost any other American. And he was told this over and over again. No rational or sane man in his position could disregard that information and reach the opposite conclusion. And Donald Trump cannot escape responsibility by being willfully blind.
The committee's next hearing will be next week. Now to Valley Crime Stoppers. First off, Robert Garcia tonight wanted on a felony warrant of criminal threats. Also, Joshua Dean wanted on a felony warrant of second-degree burglary. Finally, Domingo Morales is wanted by law enforcement for possession of a firearm by a felon. If you know where any of these guys are, you are asked to call Crime Stoppers. Their number, 498-STOP, or you can go online, valleycrimestoppers.org. All tips are anonymous. You could get cash if your tip leads to an arrest. The Kern County Sheriff's Office tonight asking for the public's assistance in locating missing adult Hannah Del Biagio. Del Biagio was last seen 2 years ago by family. It is unknown what she is wearing, but if anybody has any information regarding her whereabouts, you are asked to contact the Kern County Sheriff's Office. Tonight, homeowners across the South Valley, listen up. If you are in need of help, reporter Ali Soper from KernCounty.com has this story.
There's a new California program helping Kern County homeowners. Our treasurer tax collector, Jordan Kaufman, recently announced a new pandemic relief program for eligible residents to catch up on past due housing and property tax payments. This is part of California's mortgage relief program, which has expanded its eligibility to homeowners who were financially impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic.
The California Mortgage Relief Program, run by the California Housing Finance Agency, has expanded the mortgage relief program to include payment of delinquent property taxes. So eligible homeowners can qualify for up to $20,000 in property tax relief for delinquent taxes.
To see if you qualify for assistance and to apply, please visit camortgagerelief.org.
And today is Amazon Prime Day. New tonight, MyTV 53's Brady Lane joins us from the newsroom with all you need to know because you still have time to shop. Is that right, Brady?
Yeah, Austin, Amazon Prime Day is going on through the 12th and the 13th this year. This means that for today and tomorrow, all Amazon Prime members will get access to special perks like quick and free delivery on millions of items, as well as great deals on items like laptops, earbuds, Apple Watches, and more. Prime Day first began on July 15, 2015 as a way to celebrate Prime members on Amazon's 20th anniversary. Prime Day grows more and more each year, and for 2022, Amazon put out an 80s-inspired music video to celebrate the special day for the company and Prime members.
Alexa, when's Prime Day?
Prime Day is the 12th and 13th of July. Would you like me to add a canoe to your shopping list?
It's time to get yourself a good deal in life.
Reporting in the newsroom, Brady Lane, MyTV 53 News at 8.
All right, thanks, Brady. MyTV 53 News today, just getting started on this Tuesday. Coming up, stunning new images from the James Webb Telescope have just been released. Plus, we'll check on your Tuesday weather. This is MyTV 53 News at 8.
You're watching the Valley's only 8 o'clock newscast with Austin Reed. This is My 53 News at 8.
Welcome back, everybody. All right, it's time to see what happened today with the James Webb Telescope. France 24 USA has the latest.
Can you tell us what we're looking at in these images?
So this is a planetary nebula. It's caused by a dying star that has expelled a large fraction of its mass over in successive waves.
Okay, so we actually see those waves in these images.
Yes.
Wow. And so there's a lot of structure. Can you tell us a little more detail about what we're looking? Maybe start with this one on the left.
Yeah. So in the near cam image, you see this kind of bubbly, almost foamy appearance throughout the whole nebula with some very structured shells. And this foaminess is showing up in orange mainly, and this is due to the molecular hydrogen that's newly formed in the expansion, just lighting up the gas and dust of this nebula. And then as we move inward, you see this kind of very blue haze in the inner region, and this is actually due to very hot ionized gas that emits well in the blue, that's heated by the core, the leftover very hot core of this star.
And what about these like rays that I'm seeing in this image?
Right, so there's also rays in the outer regions that you can kind of see, and these are holes in the inner nebula that are actually allowing the central star's light to come out and kind of light it up like, patchy clouds with the sun shining through.
Wow. Oh, yeah, that's what it looks like. That's so cool. So you're actually a mid-infrared astronomer, which is different than near-infrared. And so what can you tell us about the details in this mid-infrared image?
So it looks quite different in color, partly because we're seeing different kinds of physics going on here. So we're actually seeing in the blue, you see a lot of blue. The blue is actually due to hydrocarbon grains that are emitting very strongly in the blue for MIRI. And they show the very similar structures to what we see in orange and NIRCam because the molecular hydrocarbon actually forms on the surface of dust grains. And so again, as we move inward, we see that the inner region is again hot ionized gas, but now it glows red because that's where it emits the strongest for MIRI wavelengths.
Okay.
And then as we go into the center, we see kind of the surprise for us, which is we knew this was a binary star, but we effectively didn't really see much of the actual star that produced the nebula. But now in MIRI, this star glows red because it has dust around it. So in MIRI, we got to see both stars very clearly.
Yeah, you can't see it in first image really, but there's two stars there. So that's a fun surprise. And I think that there's another little Easter egg you want to tell us about?
Yeah, so this was, the Easter egg is this kind of narrow filament up in the top that's radially aligned. You can kind of see it very clearly in the MIRI image. It shows up as this blue structure, and it points very much to the central sources. So I thought, oh, this must just be a density enhancement in the outer nebula. I thought that very, very strongly, but other people on the team were like, no, it's a background edge on galaxy. Well, I made a bet that said, no, it's part of the nebula. By the way, I lost the bet because then we looked more carefully at both the near-cam and mirror images, and it's very clearly an edge-on galaxy with a dust lane and a bulge. So I lost the bet.
Well, you lost the bet, but you got these gorgeous images, so I think it's a win for everybody. Anything else you'd like to say today?
I can't wait to see where we go from here.
Neither can I.
My 53 News continues with the Valley's local forecast.
The 2022 Emmy nominations were announced yesterday, and tonight, Access Hollywood has a recap.
The 2022 Emmy nominations are finally here, and talk about some major surprises, but also snubs. Melissa Fumero and J.B. Smoove, along with the Television Academy, announced the 74th Primetime Emmy nominations on Tuesday to honor the TV shows everyone has been binging over the past year. HBO's Succession raked in the most nominations, with 25, followed by Apple TV's Ted Lasso and HBO's The White Lotus, which each earned 20 noms. Plus, Hulu's Only Murders in the Building and HBO's Hacks each got 17 nominations. But who got snubbed? NBC's This Is Us was left out of Outstanding Drama Series noms for its 6th and final season, where in the past it's been nominated 4 times. The emotional show's stars Sterling K. Brown and Mandy Moore also both missed out on acting nominations. Jennifer Aniston missed out for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series for Apple TV's The Morning Show. Despite being nominated for the show's first season, the 53-year-old actress was snubbed for the second. However, her co-star Reese Witherspoon did make the cut. Paramount Plus's Yellowstone for Outstanding Drama Series didn't make it either. Even though they are one of the hottest shows on television and managed to snag a Best Drama Ensemble nom at this year's SAG Awards, they unfortunately couldn't break through for the Emmys. Selena Gomez missed out on Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series for Hulu's Only Murders in the Building. The 29-year-old actress's co-stars Steve Martin and Martin Short earned nominations for their work on the first season, but she was left off the list. Besides snubs, there were also a few surprises. Selena's acting may have gotten snubbed, but it's not too bad of a day for her, as she did make the cut for Outstanding Comedy Series, alongside her 2 veteran comedic co-stars, which marks only the second time a Latina has ever been among the producing nominees for a comedy series in the 74-year Emmy history. Sydney Sweeney secured 2 nominations, Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series for Euphoria, and Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Limited or Anthology Series or Movie for The White Lotus. However, for that second nomination, she'll be competing against 4 of her White Lotus co-stars, Connie Britton, Jennifer Coolidge, Alexandra Daddario, and Natasha Rothwell. Ray Seahorn finally got an Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series nom for Better Call Saul after being snubbed for the past 5 seasons. It's about damn time. Lizzo's first season of Lizzo's Watch Out for the Big Girls earned a nomination for Outstanding Competition Program, joining other highly ranked shows, including The Voice, Top Chef, and RuPaul's Drag Race. This year's Emmy Awards will recognize the best in TV, airing between June 1st, 2021 and May 31st, 2022. You can catch the ceremony on Monday, September 12th on NBC and Peacock.
My 53 News at 8 continues.
Thanks for staying with us. Before we get a final look at your weather, we got to talk about animals tonight. The Valley Animal Center tonight in very dire need for their kittens to be adopted, as there is also a shortage in wet cat food supply at the shelter, the largest no-kill and nonprofit shelter for dogs and cats in the Valley right now, looking for your help to either donate a kitten or you can drop off wet cat food for the animals in need. Donations can be made Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 or 10 to 4:30, Saturday and Sunday. Let's get a final look at your forecast. It's going to be hot, hot, hot. And as the week goes on, temperatures will keep increasing. We know there are many options out there for TV news, and we thank you for joining us here at MyTV 53. I'm Austin Reed. Have a terrific rest of your Tuesday, and I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.